You're watching ZBM TV9, Bermuda.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, March 13th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Topping our news, report of a commission of inquiry into the Auditor General's report for fiscal 2010 to 2012 indicates the need for continuation of police investigations into the involvement of a former premier and one of his cabinet colleagues in significant government contracts and the involvement of a now government senator in another. Gary Moreno brings us the latest.
The report of the recent Commission of Inquiry highlighting much of what was already known about alleged wrongdoing on the part of former Premier Dr. Ewart Brown and his one-time cabinet colleague Derek Burgess. In the case of the latter, as previously reported, it all has to do with whether or not Mr. Burgess knew his friend Winters Burgess and Dr. Brown's brother Vincent Hollinshead were the principals of LLC Limited, the company which took over the construction of the Dame Lois Brown Evans building during the winter of 2008. Both Mr. Winters Burgess and Mr. Hollinshead, the commissioners assert, stood to gain substantial financial benefits from the project, but none of this was revealed to the cabinet. Further, the commissioners say they find it hard to believe former Minister Burgess was unaware of the involvement of the two men with the project, and his evidence before the commission indicates a dereliction of duty. The commissioners suggest former Premier Dr. Brown, based on the evidence available to them, was aware of all this. However, they could not reach agreement on whether Dr. Brown should become the subject of an investigation with regard to that project. They had no such issue in determining, though, that investigations into Dr. Brown's involvement with the Global Hue, Ambling, the Motor Vehicle Safety and Emissions Testing Program, the Port Royal Golf Course Improvement Works, and the Heritage Wharf Project. They maintain that the BECL, Global Hue and Ambling contracts were all given out by Dr. Brown without them being put out to tender. What's more, the Commission found that financial instructions were ignored as they pertain to the Heritage Wharf Project, the Port Royal Golf Course, and the Motor Vehicle Testing and Emissions Program at TCD. These contracts they offer included construction contracts which should have been negotiated and supervised by the Ministry of Works and Engineering. Instead, authority to enter into the construction contracts and supervise them on behalf of the government were given to a private company, BECL, on the Heritage Wharf project, and a Quango when it came to the Port Royal Improvement Works, with neither of these having the necessary experience to safeguard the interests of the government. Again, these matters already the subject of an ongoing police investigation. Elsewhere, the commissioners are of the view that the awarding of that contract for the purchase of aggregate to Harmony Holdings in 2009 should be investigated by police. Harmony Holdings was 50% owned by the father of Vic Ball, who was the then purchasing officer in the Ministry of Works. Mr. Ball, now a government senator. That contract was authorized by former Permanent Secretary Robert Horton based on the advice of Mr. Ball, whom the Commission says did not reveal the serious conflict of interest as it pertains to his father being a part owner of the company selected. Elsewhere, the Commission makes it clear there was no evidence of possible criminal activity in relation to the LF Wade Airport redevelopment project. Now, while it has referred these contracts to the Bermuda Police Service to continue ongoing criminal investigation, the Commission acknowledges that a finding of possible criminal activity should not indicate evidence of guilt, and that the naming of an individual does not imply any finding of guilt. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And Premier Michael Dunkley telling Gary Moreno that upon hearing Senator Ball's evidence before the Commission of Inquiry, he summoned him to a meeting to discuss the situation.
He offered me his resignation at that time, and I did not accept it. I did not accept it because obviously the Commission proceedings were still continuing on. Now that it's come out, I will allow those involved in any further proceedings on that to investigate what they have to do, and we'll monitor the situation very closely. I think the Senator knows what I stand for and the values that I bring to the table in this regard, and I think he clearly knows that openness and transparency are the way to go, and he will deal with that matter. I have the highest respect for him. He has been very open and transparent with me about this incident that happened probably about 10 years ago, and that's all I will say on this matter. But be assured, I expect my colleagues to face any challenges that they have, and I'm sure Senator Ball will deal with this one in the appropriate fashion, and will continue to keep it under close review.
When you say Senator Ball will deal with this in the appropriate fashion, are you suggesting that he may perhaps have to tender his resignation?
I'm making no further comment about this at this time. I know the senator wants to make sure that he gives a full understanding to anyone who wants to know about this, and I am sure that he will deal with this in the appropriate way.
And opposition leader David Burden, given his initial reaction to the findings of the report, maintains that while he has no issue with investigations into allegations of wrongdoing, there needs to be concern as to how much is being spent on these probes while the Good Governance Act remains idle.
I haven't had a chance to review all of those items in depth. I think what's the most important thing is to recognize and understand. I think that from what I was able to reveal, it seems as though if the Commissioner of Police has engaged in investigations, these investigations have been going on a long time into these matters. So here we have the police that are conducting investigation. We have a Commissioner of Inquiry that's conducting investigations. We have a government that's spending money on certain civil, I don't want to call them civil prosecutions, but they might as well be civil prosecutions. So I mean, there's a whole lot of money that is being spent. The most important thing, in my view, Gary, is to make sure that we have complete transparency at any point in time, as the Progressive Labour Party has laid out a very robust plan for good governance, and we will improve the standard of governance which exists. I will, however, say this. I think that it is very interesting that a government, the One Bermuda Alliance, that when faced with coming into office has, after, I want to say, 51 months in office right now, refused to implement the Good Governance Act. And I think that should tell members of the public all you need to know. They talk a lot, but it's a question of the actions.
Stay with us. More news and tonight's AccuWeather forecast after the break.
Imagine your home working as hard as you, harnessing the power of the sun. While you work, we work. Think solar with BAE. Imagine more power, more often with BAE.
Calling all Bermudian University graduates. Have you considered a fast-paced and rewarding career in financial regulation?
As Bermuda's sole financial services regulator, the Bermuda Monetary Authority plays a key role in our success in the international business arena.
If you are driven, focused, and ready to challenge yourself, then apply to our graduate training program.
Visit bma.bm for details or check out our Facebook page.
We're accepting applications from January 3rd until March 31st.
The Bermuda Monetary Authority's graduate training program.
Challenge yourself.
Welcome back. Well, will the UK government act in Bermuda in interest? The question arising after it was revealed that Premier Michael Dunkley sent an urgent plea to London to fix their error, which has led to Bermuda passport holders to face entry delays at some U.S. borders. We first revealed the error in the new codes on newer Bermuda passports that are being printed in England, which causes U.S. border officials to demand visas from Bermuda passport holders. Tarai Trott brings us up to date.
By now, most know the problem. Instead of Bermuda's unique passport code BMU being included on the newer documents, which tells U.S. border inspectors the holder does not require a visa for entry, the new passports omit Bermuda's code and replaces them with the code GBD, identifying with the other overseas territories which are subject to visa controls. Updating the public in Parliament recently, Home Affairs Minister Patricia Gordon-Pamplin revealed the Premier had written to Baroness Ainley, the UK Minister for the Overseas Territories. Minister Gordon-Pamplin reiterating that the decision to repatriate the printing of the Overseas Territories passports to the UK was the sole decision of London, which took the decision against the objections from Bermuda and the other overseas territories. In his letter to the UK Minister, Mr. Dunkley reportedly requested that the matter be addressed as a matter of urgency. Government remains in discussions with Her Majesty's Passport Office, the U.S. Consulate, and the Deputy Governor's Office to rectify the problem. In the meantime, Bermuda passport holders are urged to cooperate with U.S. border officials and to consider applying for a U.S. visa in the interim. The U.S. consulate in Devonshire has stated clearly that nothing has changed where it concerns U.S. policy that Bermudian travelers do not require a visa. It's understood that travelers through the U.S. Pre-Clearance Center at the L.F. Wade International Airport are not facing issues, as border officials there are well aware of the issue and are processing Bermudians per normal. However, the problem arises when passport holders attempt to enter the United States from outside of Bermuda, as border officials based in America are unfamiliar with Bermuda and its long-standing arrangement with the United States. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news this evening, Tourism and Transport Minister Michael Fay brushing aside concerns from his opposition shadow, Jamal Simmons, that government may be over-regulating the home vacation market. Once again, here's Tarai Trott with the details.
It was Shadow Tourism Minister Jamal Simmons who spoke out following last week's announcement by the Tourism Authority that it had partnered with home rental website Airbnb. Tourism and Transport Minister Michael Fay believes there will be significant growth in the vacation rentals market, not just through Airbnb, but through other organizations dedicated to alternative hotels. Minister Fay dismissing Mr. Simmons' worry that government plans to make its Airbnb model mandatory for all vacation home renters. The minister confirming that government has no intention of bringing heavy taxation to the Bermudian homeowner, and in fact any fee that may be implemented would be borne by the end user and not the homeowner. The international home vacation rental market is forecast to grow from $100 billion by an additional $70 billion by the year 2019. Airbnb, by far the most popular service, is already in more than 34,000 cities, 191 countries, and is continuing to grow and innovate. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Well, plans are in place by the opposition Progressive Labour Party to host a job summit this Tuesday evening at the Warwick Workmen's Club. The summit begins at 7 p.m. and will focus on diversity, inclusion, and opportunity. Here's PLP MP Jamal Simmons speaking to Tarai Trott about the event.
Well, the thrust of this event is jobs, diversity, inclusion, and opportunity. And what we're really focusing on are some of the solutions that we put forward in our People's Budget, just recently presented as a response to the government's budget several weeks ago in Parliament. And we're focusing on not just about job creation, but also about growing the economy, creating greater diversity and inclusion in the workforce. We're also talking about social enterprise, a new initiative where we're encouraging businesses to grow and develop that are more about benefiting society than just the bottom line. And we've got an exciting panel of experts, and if the people who saw our event, the previous event with the vacation rentals, we're not just putting out our ideas, we're calling on members of the community who are not necessarily PLP candidates, PLP MPs, PLP people, but who can speak at length about some of the issues that we think are important. So we've got Cordell Riley from CURB talking about diversity and inclusion in the workforce. We've got Myra Virgil talking about social enterprises. We've got MP Diallo Rabin, who's going to be talking about reforming workforce development.
And again, that summit on jobs starts at 7 p.m. this Tuesday at the Warwick Workmen's Club. Mr. Simmons went on to slam the OBA for failing on its promise to deliver 2,000 jobs and presiding over a rise of non-Bermudian jobs while Bermudians lost theirs. However, responding to this story, a spokesperson for the OBA tells us, quote, Mr. Simmons likes to go on about the OBA and 2,000 jobs. What he doesn't want people to think about is why there was a need for a jobs promise in 2012. The reason was because his government presided over an economic disaster that saw 5,000 jobs lost between the years 2000 and 2012. That's 2,000 Bermudians and 3,000 non-Bermudians who lost their jobs. Think about the impact of that. An average salary of $60,000 a year. That equates to $300 million lost each year. The OBA says it has brought Bermuda back from the brink, and the island is now moving in the right direction. In other news, police tonight reminding the public to remain vigilant regarding online fraud in light of a report involving a local resident defrauded by a social media scam. In the recent reported instance, a local male Facebook user received the following messages from a newly added Facebook friend. Quote, are you interested in receiving $700,000, sir? And, sir, you have been chosen among the Facebook Promo 2017 winners to get a cash prize of $700,000 each. Apparently, believing he was a winner, the local man sent his personal details and a smaller amount of cash via money transfer to claim his alleged cash prize. However, when recontacted to send additional funds to ensure the mentioned prize money was released, The local man became suspicious and reported the matter. Police say you should not respond to unsolicited correspondence, especially if a cash reward is promised. So as the old adage goes, if it looks too good to be true, it is. In other news, Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, has confirmed she will ask for permission to hold a second referendum on Scottish independence. The BBC reporting that Ms. Sturgeon has said she wants a vote to be held between the autumn of 2018 and the spring of the following year. She said the move was needed to protect Scottish interests in the wake of the UK voting to leave the EU, and said she would ask the Scottish Parliament next week to request a Section 30 order from Westminster. However, it's unclear if Prime Minister Theresa May will grant the referendum request as stated, with experts pointing out the threat of a Scottish independence vote from the UK comes at the worst possible time given the Brexit negotiations. Mrs. May had previously refused to publicly state whether or not she would grant a request from Scotland for a second vote on the issue. In the 2014 referendum on independence, Scottish voters rejected it overwhelmingly. Turning to weather news, another front headed our way will bring very strong winds and rain late Tuesday into Wednesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm Stephanie Emo. And as we continue now through the nighttime hours, many folks out here in Bermuda did enjoy the tranquil weather pattern. Notice right behind me, cold front continues to work its way down to the south. High pressure system in control, but really not for too long because we are monitoring a massive storm that's just going to impact parts of the United States, the northeastern half of it. And while eventually it's going to begin to slide its way up toward the north, we will see a frontal boundary begin to make its way in the area here. So we will see some showers, some spotty showers here tonight, but we will see periods of rain as we take you into tomorrow through the evening hours, and we could actually pick up about 2 inches of rain by the time it's all said and done. So really on the unsettled side as we head into the next couple of days. So right now, Bermuda, just a couple of spotty showers just in and around the island, but the bulk of the activity remaining just away from us here. So checking out your current conditions as we speak, humidity about 60 to 65% with the winds out of the northeast, 16 to 20 knots, water temperature at around 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Waves inside the reef 1 to 3 feet. Now, as we check out conditions for tonight, a bit breezy with patches of clouds. Once again, you cannot lack a chance for some isolated activity. Temperatures tonight taking a tumble down into the lower 60s. Temperatures will begin to warm right back up, but hey, we're looking a little bit more in the way of cloud cover, some showery activity mainly later in the day. The winds will begin to pick up here. We do have a small craft warning remaining into effect into tomorrow morning. Also, we do have a gale force warning as well, in effect, through the day tomorrow. The next chance to see that high tide will be tonight around 10, 13, and then the next chance for that low tide will be through the early morning hours on Tuesday. Checking out your gateway forecast, Toronto, we're looking at snow and blizzard conditions. New York City and also Boston will slam the area as we take you into tomorrow. So could experience some delay, some cancellation for those traveling to these particular cities, but across the southeast around Atlanta and also into Miami, you're looking at peaks of sunshine. Jamaica, a few showers around here. Barbados and Trinidad, temperature-wise, really not too bad either. We'll be into the 80s. As we check out your extended outlook here, notice with the system approaching us Tuesday into Wednesday, we will see some rain. Remember, it could be pretty heavy at times, so of course could anticipate some delays. Temperatures will be in the 70s, and then we'll be cooling right back down into the lower 60s on Thursday. Much of the day on Friday expected to be relatively tranquil, although we cannot let the chance for some showers in the area, and while temperatures will remain in the low 60s as we head into Friday and into the first part of the weekend, with temperatures falling back into the 50s later at night. Now remember to always be prepared for everything the weather has in store. Tune to local radio stations Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105 for the latest weather conditions and updates.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Introducing Create, your style, your way. We at Big Savings Zone understand that you are unique and your style is personal. We know that your home is a reflection of who you are, and that's why you should create it your way. First, choose your style. Second, choose your color. Third, choose your accent pillows. With these 3 simple steps, you can now design your perfect living room. You are one of a kind, and so is your home. So create your style, your way. Exclusively available at Big Savings Zone, Southside, St. David's.
New figures released by government say that 75% of adults in Bermuda are overweight, with 33% having high blood pressure. As March is Nutrition Month, we spoke with nutrition and fitness expert Tanya Kowalski, who tells us the journey to wellness is simple but not easy.
Scrolling your Instagram or Facebook feed, you're likely to come across the latest fitness or health trend. But how many of us are learning how to live well? Ms. Kowalski says the hardest part is to get started on the right path.
I feel like there's this great divide in health and fitness and wellness where we've got these super fit elite athletes and then we've got people that just really need to get started. And I feel like if we had more people, in the middle ground, that we'd be such a healthier population, and there's so many easy changes and places to start, but really it's just getting started.
Opting to grab food on the go may be harmful in the long run, but having a health professional review your diet can help keep you accountable.
I feel like if you need education and you feel like you need accountability, that it's an important place to start. That having someone in your corner, that understanding exactly what it is that you need, where to get started, how to start with some small healthy changes and instead of trying to overhaul everything all at once, is a really important piece. And then having the accountability to someone to kind of, cheer you on and keep you going.
And if you're exercising but not seeing great results, lack of proper nutrition could be the culprit.
If you ask me, it is all about nutrition. And don't get me wrong, fitness is so important for cardiovascular health, for warding off disease, for your mood, for your energy. It's got so many amazing health benefits. But I feel like if we exercise ourselves into oblivion, we can also be hungrier, right? Mm-hmm. So we find ourselves hungry, and if we're not making the right choices, it can actually work against us instead of for us. So what we're putting in our bodies is so important. I know so many really fit and healthy people that aren't exercise fanatics, but that eat really well and have, really healthy body composition, good energy, and happy lives.
Ms. Kowalski says doing simple tasks like going for a walk can create a domino effect to healthier behaviors.
Walking as a family, I swear every time I see parents and kids out walking together, it just makes me smile, because really getting outside, putting the iPads and the technology down, moving your body, being together, having that connected time is so important. And I know as a busy mom, I am guilty of spending weekends working too much, being inside, and the minute that I get outside with my kids, with my family, with a friend, whatever that is, I feel so much better. Getting outside in nature, connecting with people, moving your body, and then you have this inspiration to fill it with healthy food as well. It really is a feeling that you'll want to come back to and do more of.
Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Good advice for everyone. Now turning to sports, Bermuda runner wins national title. The Queen's Commonwealth Baton Relay gets underway and the Challenge Cup semifinal draw is announced. Earl Baisden has a look at the weekend that was in sports.
Shaquille O'Neal stood atop of the NCAA Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships men's 800-meter podium following his time of 1:49.96, while Dage Miners finished fourth, clocking 1:50.73 on Saturday evening. Let's join the final stages of the race.
That's Dill with your lead right now. Hutchinson right in tow. Ricky Romero on the inside, run down number 3. Number 4 is DeVroe. Dage Miners is trying to get there as well, as we've got 7 guys all in tow there around the curve. This is Shaquille O'Neal, Emmanuel Hutchinson, Ricky Romero, Dage Miners as they come off the curve. We're going to race to the line. Dill, Hutchinson, Romero, and we're going to give that to Shaquille Dill. Dill, the champion from last year's outdoor meet, 8th place finisher indoors. Congratulations, men.
Several members of the royal family, led by the Queen, took part in the start of the Queen's Baton Relay for next year's Commonwealth Games in Australia. The Queen, her husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, and their son, the Earl of Wessex, who was in Bermuda just over a week ago, sent the baton on its way to tour all 70 Commonwealth nations, including Bermuda, before it arrived to spend the final 100 days in Australia. The baton is scheduled to arrive in Bermuda July 24th of this year and will depart July 27th. Following the FA Challenge Cup quarterfinal matches held over the weekend, the winners, North Village Rams, Dendytown Hornets, PHC Zebras, and holders, Robin Hood, were all put into the cup for the semi-final draw.
So Dendytown. Versus North Village.
That one's going to be on Thursday.
Robin Hood versus PHC. So Wednesday, March 22nd will be Robin Hood versus PHC at Somerset Cricket Club. And Thursday, March 23rd will be Dennytown versus North Village at Goose Golfing School.
The Tsunamis are the new Bermuda Island Basketball League champions after they defeated the defending champions Flyboys 81-54 to take Game 2 of the best-of-3 series and raise the Ryan Bronson Trophy in this their first year. Regular season MVP Dean Jones, who also captured the Finals MVP award, scored 31 points for the Tsunamis, while Akil Smith scored 19 points for the Flyboys. There were no surprises in the men's open or the ladies' open division as the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club hosted the opening day of the Digicel Bermuda National Squash Championships. 2 games went the distance with Chris Dawson defeating Tony Muldoon 11-6, 8-11, 11-5, 9-11, 11-5, while David Woods got by Kendi Corbin 9-11, 11-2, 11-5, 6-11, 11-5. The final 2017 RES Spring Show Series took place at the Ocean View Farm over the weekend. In the Junior Hunter Over Fences class, Mr. Bentley, ridden by Elizabeth Medeiros, finished first, Kelsey Amos riding Ruratio finished second, and Kristen Bean riding Boom Boom Pow finished third. The Junior Hunter Undersaddle class was won by Casey Truin riding Della Vega. Mr. Bentley and Elizabeth Medeiros finished second, Bertha Waite and Courtney Brumby finished in third. The Hunter Pony Over Fences class was won by Nicholas Lopes riding Don't Blake. Cody Rigo and Southern Surprise finished second, with Winter Mint finishing in third. Renegades followed up their league and Nickel Shield dominance by claiming the Bermuda Rugby Football Union's Club 7's trophy at the National Sports Center on Saturday. The Renegades finished the event with 16 points, while the Police finished with 10 points. The Teachers Old Boys ended the day with 8 points, while Teachers finished with 6. The Mariners failed to get on the board. A total of 25 goals were scored in a doubleheader of women's field hockey action at the National Sports Center yesterday. Hat-tricks off the sticks of Jasmine Patterson, Keisha Robinson, and Cassia White guided the Budgies to a 14-0 win over the Sandpipers. In the other match, the Ravens defeated the Bluebirds 10-1. The Bermuda Netball Association's Youth and Senior League season resumed at Bernard Park on Saturday. In the Under-12 division, the Storm edged the Warriors 19-17. Phoenix Flames got by North Village Rams 22-12. The Under-16 division saw Storm Lightning defeat the North Village Rams 2 team 20-12, while the North Village Lady Rams defeated the Phoenix Flames 26-17. Over in the Senior division, the Storm defeated Phoenix Blazing 41-12. Robin Hood got by the Phoenix Flames 38-23, and Phoenix Heat defeated the North Village Lady Rams 71-35. The Bermuda School Sports Federation Zone Track and Field Championships got underway at the National Sports Center with the West and West Central qualifiers taking place. Manny Ferrara, the Bermuda School Sports Federation Administrator, gives us some highlights from today's races.
Today we had a beautiful day for track and field, and 13 schools for the first half of the zone qualifiers. In the under-9 girls division, we had Sanaya Comerback, and she's from Purvis Primary, and she won the 200, 400, and 800 meter race. The Front Street Mile winner, Ramaya Brangman, continuing her fine form in the over 10 girls division, and she won the 200, 400, and 800 in her zone. Also, Rico Otterbridge from West End Primary in the under 9 boys division. He won the 100, 200, and 400. In the West Central zone, it was much more competitive. Not many people winning 3 races, but we did have Naeem Grant from Warwick Academy, and he won the 100, 200, and 800 in the under 10 boys division.
I'm Earl Basden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
I
have been crazy, but that's just alright. Alright. My feelings, I don't hide them from me. Not, alright. Come and get it if you're ready, darling. Come and get it if you're ready, ready. Come and get it if you're ready, let's roll it. Come and get it if you're ready, let's do it.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for sharing your Monday evening with us, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.